Hi, my name's Clayton. I drive a shitbox. I'm not a mechanic, I'm a plumber. I've had a lot of different jobs in my life, from artisan welder, electrician, HVAC, carpentry, chemical flooring, but I've never been a mechanic. I've never really worked on a car other than putting on accessories and, stuff like that. I'm a pretty good welder. And I'm pretty mechanically inclined. Been working since I was 10. When I was 10 years old, my dad put a 7-inch grinder in my hand and told me to start cutting floors up. Super scary back then. Not at all now. I do things like build go-kart. Here's another one. Hand welded everything. Can rip apart the motor with no problem. Like I said, I can work on small engines, no problem. I built all this, removed the governor, torque converter, all that kind of stuff. But that's not a real car. It goes 70 miles an hour. Repeat, 70 miles an hour. Super dangerous too. Tie rods, everything redid. This was probably 2 feet shorter. Doesn't really matter. It's not a car. Put in hydraulic brakes, and all that fun stuff. Did the same thing with our off-road one, which is the 420cc Predator that we pulled the governor on and did all that fun stuff. But yeah, it's not a real car. So, want to take a journey with me and see if we know how to replace a clutch? That's what I'm going to shoot in this film. And then you guys can talk shit about me or whatever you want to do. 420cc. So, yeah, did the diamond plate, everything else. Me and my daughter, master brake cylinder, hydraulic brakes, all the fun shit. So yeah, this is what I'm going to attempt to do. So we're going to jack it up. Well, first we got to push it in the damn garage. Jack it up and see what we're going to find. And then I'm going to post all this so y'all can see it. I have a sneaking suspicion that the clutch itself is garbage from the factory. That's what I said, and I mean it. I have had many fast cars. I've had many clutches. If it was an ultimate race car and you're dumping that clutch on the track and stuff, I can totally see blowing out a clutch. But this, less than 2,000 miles. There wasn't enough of a braking period for the clutch and blah, blah, blah. How many people have you had, or how many of you have had clutches? How many? Just trying to say that it should have lasted way longer. Yeah, I put more horsepower and torque into it. Yeah, that could be a problem. But we're going to see how bad of a problem. I'm thinking we're going to find tons of fibers. We're going to see this thing pretty much exploded. And yeah, I have a heavy foot. I drive fast. But that's what they market this as, right? Watch the video. Yeah, that thing's sailing through the air. Secondly, if the clutch is this bad, I know that that slip differential is going to have similar problems when we start bringing up these torque specs. So the goal on this thing is to reach at least 425 horsepower, but torque's always better than the horsepower. So I wanted to get it down to at least 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. We were getting close, but yeah, one day with some modifications and it's gone. And I believe it was slipping before because I could feel it a little bit when you were in maybe second on the high end. And most people say fifth, which is about normal. But anyway, take this journey with me and we're gonna find out what happens. So far, getting the jack stands installed. Let's see how this goes. Nice and slow. Always keep your head under the car. Perfect. So we got 5 in the front, 3 in the back notches. So I gotta raise the back now. By the way, if you think this is cheaper, it's really not. Sometimes it's better just to call a professional. You don't do it twice. But I love learning. This will be fun. All 4 feet touching in the front. All 4 feet. Like my wheel chocks, non-existent. It's a good sound. I love that sound. Super scary. Just so you know, it's a suicide attempt, because if it was actually suicide, it would say Pittsburgh and not Daytona. These should always face outwards, but these new ones have these little blocks, so that's pretty nice. 1, 2, 3, 5. Should be good. Lock out. Cool. Let's see what happens. Bring it through. Okay. Skate time. It's. And it's down. So I think I'm going to stick the jack in the front in case shit comes crashing down. So, you know. Whew. Just that was an ordeal. You know, the funny part is, I bought lifts. You know, like the small ones, you slide underneath and lift up. Just didn't put them together yet. So what I'm trying to do now is just get this placed under the center third purple bolt, which is going to have to come out anyway. So you see the jack, you see those bolts up there? That's the subframe. And here a lot of this plastic. Alright, just for now, let's stick that there. There we go. Cool. So all the way up. Maybe we should just lift it, right? Make it like a truck. That'd be a hell of a rally car to flip over. Anyway, next step. Next step would be to remove the shifter, which I probably should have did first. I already broke the tires loose. But anyway, go ahead and take that off. I don't remember it being this easy to come off. Anyway, get rid of all this jazz. Need 2 hands for most of this. Show you the next step. I didn't really have to unclip it. So, okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Allen keys. No. They are, I don't know, 10mm bolts. We're going to find out. So you can see the shifter linkage right here. Again, mine's pretty jacked right now. There's the clutch. But there you go. Not much different than the regular Corolla. Now to remove all the pretty stuff that we just put in. Yay. Just so we can get down here to the box. So that'll be fun. So luckily you can pull most of it in there. But yeah, right here is where we're trying to get right in here between those two seams. At least that's where it was smoking. Well, we'll pull the tires and the CV axles next. So I already loosened the tires before we started this process. So I had to remove the tires, and now I gotta get my mechanic socket and go ahead and remove this and hang up the calipers. Don't really feel like taking the calipers off and all that stuff, so we're just gonna hang the whole thing and pull the CV joints. Should be fine. I don't think we'll have any problems. Then drain the fluid that we just put in. So this will be fun. So side note, whenever you buy like Husky and stuff, I bought a crappy Chevy work van, and it didn't have the jack, the anything to change the tire. So I went and bought some like Husky and like Craftsman, whatever, in a pinch with a braking bar, and 5-sided, yeah, 5-sided impact. Doesn't make no sense. These are 12-sided. I went through all my old ones. For some reason I don't have the one I need, so I'm gonna go pick that up right now. But so far so good. I am disappointed in Corolla or Toyota with the all plastic clutch assembly. I get it, it's a Corolla. I get it. I don't think Honda did that though. I'll have to check. Couldn't find any information on which size socket, and I have all 5 points like I said. So I had 2, and one was 32, which is too big, and a 30, which is the proper one. So that's what we're gonna do. So next we're gonna pop these little clips out. There are 7 of them, and then these 10mm bolts that I just pulled out here. The little gap is so we can drop this whole panel. Perfect. There she is, boys. So now we can start draining some fluid. I'll note there are staked, those castle nuts. Oh, sorry, not castle nuts. I'm talking about firearms. The CV axles are actually staked on the nuts, so just something to be aware of. All right, we can already kind of see the catastrophic failure. Look, we're getting some of these nice little fibers starting to stick out. How bad do you think it's going to be? I think it's going to be pretty stringy if we're seeing this. Yeah, not rated for the torque. So just remember that if you start increasing all this horsepower and torque, this is the #1 problem you're going to get. Obviously, all the overheating issues and stuff like that are easy fixes. So everything else seems pretty straightforward. I'm going to start disconnecting sensors after draining, and then we'll pull this transmission and subframe off. So another thing we're going to do is disconnect the neutral. So I already popped it loose. Stick that in there, put the nut back on top so we don't lose it. Anyway, 12mm, 1/2 inch, whatever you want to use. Alright, so we're going to start draining the transmission fluid. Take these stupid CV axles out. Okay, went ahead and marked them. That's weird. Nothing's coming out yet. There we go. Not trying to take it all the way out. I actually tried to get this transmission oil replaced, and when I was doing my differential oil at the dealership, and I told them the transfer case oil and the transmission oil are the same, they're shared, and they said they had to order it, and then they never got back to me. So looks pretty clean, but I was trying to do what the recommendations are supposed to be, and they did not do it. So we're just gonna let that drain for a while. If you need to do your trans axles, right here, differential fluid right here, and then same thing in the back, because we're really looking for that plug, and there's probably a vent plug right up in here somewhere, or probably on this side or something. But yeah, I'm just gonna let that take its sweet time so it doesn't get everywhere. I got a nice clean new one in case I want to put it back, but again, they didn't do it, so I'll probably just replace it. And then all these purple bolts basically need to come out. And then let's see, all these little clips need to come off. Battery's disconnected, so here's your ground. Yep, so here's where we're at so far. And then I haven't pulled the CV axles out yet because I gotta drain this first. As you can see, that's where it goes, straight through into this. So, but yeah, we can already see all these fibers in here, so I know that this is catastrophic failure. I'm sure they'd say it's abuse, but I haven't even made 2,000 miles yet, man. And regardless if there is, to me, any crazy driving in it, this thing is marketed that way. Just FYI. While we have it here, you can kind of see there is the all-wheel drive system starting off right here. So this little piece right here, I'm gonna make it nice and clean for a second. That's your drive shaft running all the way down. While I'm under here, I'll play with some stuff. Let's see if we can take a look at that downpipe a little better. And yeah, maybe give you guys a heads up on any of the stuff you might have to deal with if you like to fiddle and play around with stuff. Also, while I'm down here, sorry if the phone keeps flipping up and down, this is the sensor that is overheating on the rear diff. So it is pretty close to the pipe. So they're thinking that that's one of the issues. And to wrap this, we're going to do a different exhaust, obviously. But as far as the shielding goes, they were thinking that they should move it from this side to this side, which probably wouldn't be a bad idea. But I think some heat wrap or some shielding right here would probably reduce most of the problems. So literally you can pick this tin up almost anywhere. Heck, you can go to even Home Depot and get some tin from the aisle, and you could just rivet it on and then just kind of guard this area, and then it would be good. But yep, that's the little overheating sensor. Alright, so we got transmission, stop dripping. And this was kind of a boogered pop off right there, 10 millimeter. I don't think we'll get too much out of it, but you never know. I don't hear nothing, but it is a low point, so. As you can tell, that's right where the CV axle goes into. There we go. Yep, that definitely had some in it. So, I guess we're going to be doing some fluid swapping, huh? Glug, glug, glug. There's a vent one way up here to fill. Right there. Sometimes the glugs keep it from splashing everywhere because it's coming out too fast. Doesn't look too bad. Fingers do, but throw some Amsoil or something in there. I don't really want to use red wine. I know it doesn't get cold enough to ruin red wine here, but still, you never know. But yep, next up. So this is the part I wasn't looking forward to because I just put it all in, but see if I get a better angle. So we're going to disconnect the map sensor from the e-Venturi. And then that's actually just a harness for the JB4. So kind of go from there. Then down here, we had these little rubber boots. I'm thinking if I just detach it from these two nuts right here, though, these little 8 millimeters. might be 10 millimeters that I could probably just pull the whole intake right off. And then right back here, because we did carbon all the way there with the Venturi, so we'll take this off. Let's see, I got a flat head instead of a nut driver, but that'll work. And then let's see, let's put there for a second. Let's see now. Yeah, on the drill. That's ready to go. Alright, see if we can get the little 10 mil off down here. They are 10. So on that Venturi install, they had said to, I think on one of the official videos, it said to take the extra motor, disconnect it, and then put the little rubber cap up here where the T is. See that? See the T for the vacuum lines? And to me, that didn't make a lot of sense because all new cars have all these sensors all over them. So what I decided is that I was going to leave it connected, and then basically I left it down here connected and put the little rubber cap right there. So that way it's just tucked away down here, so the sensor, which I'm sure it probably doesn't connect to anything, but you know how new cars are. If I can leave it on, I did. I don't want it sending anything back to the computer, even with the JB4 telling me there's a problem. So I saw another video of a guy do that. It made more sense to me. And the instructions say to do that, I believe, instead of at the T. So anyway, so much nicer to be able to stand up and work on this, especially if you got a bad back. Alright, so at least that one's out. Alright, let's see if the whole thing pulls. Probably not, but let's give it a shot. Put this over here. Yep, right off. See how big that is? Anyway. Go set that up on the side. Lucky for you, you're going to see me reinstall most of this stuff, so if you have any questions on any of that, hopefully it shows at the video. Anyway, so now I got to start disconnecting the shifter linkage, which is all this fun stuff here, to drop and get into that clutch. So here's where we're at. I'll try to do this all on film, I think. But essentially, should be able to disconnect and pull these clips, pop these bushings up without losing the washers. They sell some pretty nice bushings now, though. There, one of the linkages done. The main part is disconnecting it over here, and then the same thing here. This should just have a clip that pops up. So, good way not to lose stuff is to put it back on, if at all possible. Alright, there's that one. Let's try. I wonder if I really need to remove all that to get to it, though. Guys, you're learning with me, but thinking with the hoses and everything, it might be better to remove this entire mechanism. Still got to disconnect all the little sensors and plugs and BS too. So we will see. I know there are people out there that would just start disconnecting this now before any of this, pop it off. You can already get to it from the bottom. start removing the bolts and go from there, from the bell housing. And then you could just kind of wedge it down in here, like disconnect, pop it off, slide the new one in. But due to the catastrophic nature of what I think we're going to find, I'm thinking we just keep doing it this way and pull it all out. A little bit more work, but I think it's going to benefit us in the long run, especially trying to hold up that transmission. I'll probably put a jack underneath there and do that though. I guess I could just take all that off through those bolts. Tempting. I think it's just gonna be easier to go through the bolts. And that's probably enough to get that off. But we got the mount. It's gonna be fun. So I'm just gonna start popping stuff off. I know it's gonna be kind of in the way. That way I can find out where it goes, what it does. But yeah, there's gonna be all kinds of funness now. Ground wire. Again, I am not a mechanic. Never done anything like this in my life. Just glad it's not electric. Let's see that one. Maybe not. Wish I could see it. Come on, where you at? Is it back here? Gotta be something stupid. Can't see what I'm touching. So there's your transmission hook. Is the Cusco one that you can pop off here and replace if you want more rigidity. So we will start pulling the sub panel here and see what actually has to come out before I just keep disconnecting all this little shit. So we're gonna get rid of all these little purple bolts basically. But before I do that, I'm gonna pull the axles, CD axles, which will be fun. Whew. Not a fun way to spend a Saturday, but I like tinkering, so it works out. So we've taken out here, what I've done is I put the nut on and whacked it with a hammer just to break it free. And now we're gonna pop these bolts out. So that way it'll swivel, hopefully. And I don't have to take apart calipers, all the fun stuff, which is actually not that hard. But I don't know how else it's gonna flex. We'll see. It was probably easier just to take the one out right here. But I'm thinking this is right because I can just jack it. Let's see. Let's see if that's working. Oh, let's see. Nothing nice about any of this is working on a new car is how easy it is. Because they're new bolts. Exactly what's about to happen. That might be exactly what's about to happen, man. There we go. Strip tire swinging around a little bit. Things move around a lot. Yeah, see to pop it off. One bolt. under here. Probably. Should be out. It's definitely out now. Here's just the boot. Yep. So just the boot. Cool. So it's out. We'll just lay that up there. I'm gonna disconnect this one too. Pop that thing out. Probably. Want to do that. So it does want to come off, it doesn't want to go there. But it's out. So what's going on there? It's just this damn gasket, right? It sucks that I went in. Why is it not wanting to come out? Well, I'm just gonna stop right there. It's all dirty now. Still dirty. That sounds good. Just rub it aside. So this is the CV axle, and there is a little clip on the passenger side, because look how stout this thing is. That's pretty crazy. It looks like a, I don't know, looks like one of their SUV model ones. Anyway, I gotta pull out the passenger side, or the driver's side I mean, and I just gotta get a little pry bar and I can pop it loose. This panel is kind of in the way, so I might remove it, but yeah, just gotta pry it out. So that's gonna wrap up day one of ripping this thing apart. Wasn't really a whole day, just took my time and took lots of breaks because I'm not working today, but it's nighttime now. I already showered, got everything I need. So we got both the CV axles pulled. Mainly making this video too, so I know where everything goes when I put it back. Have not pulled the transmission yet. Probably gonna try to do that tomorrow, or just chill because it's Sunday. But yeah, I mean, it's moving. Oil's drain. The transmission's ready to pop out. The only thing I gotta do, I think, is the hydraulic throw out bearing. And then once I do that, I can start taking the purple bolts out, which I already kind of loosened them. And then start doing all the bolts around the bell housing. So then I can just hopefully swing it over. We loosened all the nuts for the clutch, shifter, linkage, and all that. And then I still have to pop the plastic for 10mm bolts inside the car for the shifter, and then it should go. Like I said, I'm not really taking I don't know, taking a lot of breaks, but I mean, I'm not really rushing to get this done either. I haven't even ordered the clutch yet because I'm stuck between the FX 350 or if I just go 725, and really just waiting to see how bad this looks before I decide what I'm going to do with it. Because if we just keep increasing horsepower and torque, I don't want to have to do this again, unless we're attempting it to be like something crazy like 600-700 horsepower, which is too much for a little car. I mean, it's great for like a real rally car, but it's going to be too much because it's, I mean, I got to change the tires out. These tires, these Michelin Sport, Pilot Sport 4s or whatever, they slide all over the place all the time. They, like, you can just break them free, just no big deal. And so, yeah, if you're just having fun with it, it's great. But yeah, they're not, that traction is not really there for these tires. We'll see. I was thinking about BBS wheels and some other things like that, but this is where I'm gonna wrap up for today, and then I'll give you part 2.